Hey there, party people! I have realized that it's actually been a crazy amount of time since I last spoke about a Yuri series. Let's change that with a relatively new one that I'm sure you've heard about recently. Lovebullet by Ine. This is a series that is only 7 chapters long so far, having started in October of 2023 with only a single completed volume out. And it has taken Yuri fans by storm. This is because sales of the first volume were actually doing poorly, and there was the threat of the series being cancelled outright. Those who have read the manga could not stand by and let this happen, and a movement was organized by notably Western readers to buy copies of the volume straight from Japan to help boost the sales numbers. What this will ultimately lead to is uncertain as of right now, but it is still an amazing feat. Across several websites, including Manga Republic and Melon Books, the manga is unavailable. Even on eBay, where I managed to score my own copy, there are very few listings because so many have been bought. So this video isn't so much to spread awareness, though that is a partial goal as you can never have too many people be interested. More than anything, I want to touch on the contents of the first volume, which was translated by the Space Sancho team, and to cover what made it so impactful as to cause this movement in the first place. Also, if someone from the translation team happens to watch this, please respond to my email. I really want to work on a short dub of the manga using the translation, and I don't want to do it without permission and potential compensation to you, since I'm sure the team worked really hard on the translation. Anyway, with the IRL lore out of the way, let's talk about the in-manga lore. Obvious spoilers inbound. It starts off with a chapter 0, which is mostly to set up characters and the base workings of this universe, most notably the main concept, Cupids. Cupids are spirits of the deceased who have died having never fallen in love. The goddess of love takes pity on them and recreates them as spiritual beings known as Cupids, who help living humans fall in love. In doing this task, Cupids build up karma and will one day be reincarnated as living humans so that they can finally fall in love themselves. To make humans fall in love, Cupids use weaponry. Originally, it was a bow and arrow, though modern problems call for modern solutions, which means they have progressed to using firearms and various other heavy artillery. I especially like this because it implies that in the year 4769, there is the possibility of a Cupid operating an orbital space laser, and that's just fun imagery. Anyway, as I said, Chapter 0 also introduces characters, those being Kana, Enna, Chio, and the main character, Koharu. The 4 are tasked with deciding a love triangle between friends after 2 of the trio were hit with love bullets, making them fall for the 3rd. This actually leads to a fight among the Cupids, quickly revealing that this manga will have quite a bit of action. It also reveals that when shot with a love bullet or blasted with a love grenade, Cupids have a very different reaction than humans. They lament their lack of love, which is quite distressing when you sit and really think about all of this context. But the conflict right now is resolved as, after observing the 3 friends, Koharu opts to pair the object of affection with an unrelated third party so that the 3 friends can remain as friends, and not risk the threat of their friend group falling apart. This judgment call is actually expanded upon as being a talent Koharu had when she was alive. In high school, she was a matchmaker. Her observant nature and just overall ability to read people led her to being able to hook couples up with resounding success. This skill garnered popularity, to the point where her own love life was completely neglected, and if not for her childhood friend Aki, there to keep her in check, it would have completely subsumed her life. And I just love how seamlessly this ties together. Her talent as a Cupid is brought on by a natural talent that she worked on and built up while alive. But it is also completely tragic that the thing that was messing with her life on a certain level was now her entire afterlife, which is not the only layer of tragic irony here, but we will get to that. Chapter 0 starting in media res, and then the actual first chapter starting off Koharu's origin is great. It's a great way to hook people in with the concept, establish everything you 100% need to know about the world itself in order to get a handle on the story without being extremely dry exposition, and establish interest in the main character as she shows off skills that surprise her comrades. There are a million ways to do this exact setup, and more often than not, do it poorly. Here, it is executed perfectly. But, jumping back to Koharu's living days, for all of her observance and matchmaking know-how, she ended up being completely blindsided by Aki's confession to her. But what blindsided her even more was a tragic construction accident that led to her living days being over. Given the premise of Cupid's, it was natural to expect that Koharu was going to die. But for it to be this unbelievably tragic is insane to me. Aki confesses her love to her childhood friend, only to be forced to watch her die in such a gruesome way, and Koharu slips away, lamenting the fact that she wanted to fall in love. Only for her to wake up in an amazing match cut. I picture this animated, with somber music, only to hard cut to this scene with only the quiet sounds of birds or something, and it gives me chills. It's such powerful imagery. Here, Koharu meets Kana, who is her mentor Cupid. While adjusting to her new state of being, Koharu is met with two harrowing facts. That her first mission is to pair off Aki, and that 5 years have passed since she passed away. Aki, now in college, is surrounded by several prospective love interests that Koharu must choose from. When searching through Aki's file to get an idea to help narrow it down, it is shown that the only person she has loved is Koharu, and that she is still in love with her to this day. And I am very much not okay with that. Like, in a good way. It makes me feel terrible, it's amazing. But while I'm gushing over tragic love, we are properly introduced to Chio, who is a rabble-rouser. That's the only description I feel suits her best. She likes fighting, only really cares about completing assignments rather than the people she's pairing up, and wants to take this mission. Kana offers to fight Chio on the condition that they don't use guns, to give Koharu a chance to go incognito with a corporeal form and figure out who to pair Aki up with. This works thanks to Koharu looking so different and some Cupid magic. This is where she meets Sakura, one of Aki's friends, and after getting the signal from Kana that she won the fight, having blown up Chio with a grenade since it's distinctly not a gun, Koharu goes back to Cupid form to leave Aki and Sakura alone. Sakura gets Aki to talk about Koharu, what her life has been like since losing her friend, and how she realized how distant the memories of her friend are. How she feels ready to move on, how she doesn't want Koharu to worry about her, to show Koharu that after all of this time, she will be alright. And Koharu says that she's going to be alright too, as she has Aki fall in love with Sakura. And as they leave, Koharu doesn't say goodbye, but that she will see Aki later. Let me tell you, this ruined me. This is why this manga resonated with so many people, not just myself. This is what started the movement. I cried so hard when reading this. I cried just as hard writing this segment of the script. I am shocked I'm holding it together right now. It is such a beautiful tragedy. And this is the other layer of tragic irony that I mentioned. Aki tried so hard to get Koharu to stop with the matchmaking. And now she is being saved by that matchmaking that is now her friend's very existence. She still loved Koharu, and that love is what made her ready to move on. And that love is what gave Koharu the strength to accept her new life. The first match cut was the physical start to her new state of being. The second, not exact match cut, is the start of her new story. Everything about Lovebullet's first volume is so perfectly put together, it's honestly insane. The threads of the story weave so perfectly together, and how each and every character is established in a way that tells you so much about them. Chio, for example, becomes near catatonic when hit by a love bullet, unlike the others who have a much more violent outburst. That is amazing character storytelling without really saying anything. But more than that, the visual storytelling in key moments like the match cuts is amazing as well, showing a level of skill and passion that I can't help but admire. This manga absolutely deserves to be seen by so many people, deserves to be saved, deserves to be loved. I bought the Japanese copy, and you know I'll buy the English copy if we get one, and I will pray that this showing of support is enough to even get in an anime one day. If you can, get yourself a copy, and spread the word of this series however you see best. And let me know your thoughts on the manga down in the comments below. I am really interested to find out. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you next time. In the void. Later.